So super excited to be doing this webinar because one of the most important things and a lot of feedback that I get from clients is, I have a website, but it's not converting or I'm not getting the results that I'm looking for. So really, really excited to be having you all aboard on this webinar today to be able to show you some tips and tricks that you can utilize for your own business to be able to get more leads. And that's basically, what we all need, right? At the end of the day, that's how we grow our business. So for us here at Four Quoting Marketers and for our clients, this is really encompasses all of what we do in our online dominance system. So sure, there's a lot of channels and avenues that you can use and that you can tap into for your concrete coating business to be able to generate leads. But at the end of the day, if you don't have a good quality website, it's not really going to do the best for you, right? So it's all really part of our online digital dominance system. We can get you as much as we want, but we got to have the hub, really the foundation of your business online working to your best, to the best of its ability. So for the next 60 minutes, just needs your attention. You've taken the time and committed yourself to be here today. So just turn off your cell phones, turn off Facebook. If you're really serious about doubling or even tripling your leads that you'll pull from your concrete coating website, then the next 60 minutes is really, really important. All right, so who am I and why should you listen to this guy? Well, I've been in the internet marketing space for about 7 years. Previous to that, I've been a business owner of 2 service businesses. One is a window cleaning business, pressure washing window cleaning. It's actually still in existence today. It's called Rudy's Window Cleaning. You can go and check it out if you want. And a Christmas light installation company as well. I sold the window cleaning company, kept the Christmas light installation company, and then went into marketing full time. So I was using that as kind of a secondary source of income. And then we kind of shifted in our personal lives and relocated to the West Coast. And so I couldn't keep the Christmas light installation company. It just wasn't at that level where I could just kind of let it do its thing. And so I just ended up just deciding to sell it. So if it wasn't for us moving, I'd probably still have it today because it's that lucrative. But decided with the marketing agency to really focus in on concrete coating. I just noticed that there's a lot of opportunity. There's a lot of people really getting into this business. And it's been around long enough for people to really realize that digital marketing is a strategy that they need in their business to be able to take it to the next level. So really wanted to focus in on one industry, and that's concrete coating. Before that, we were called kind of like a generalist agency. So we served a lot of service-based businesses that actually are still our clients even today. A lot of them are window cleaning, pressure washing, landscaping. I even have a drone service company. And we just keep them on board because they're happy with the services that we're providing with them. There's no sense even cutting ties for no reason, right? So we work exclusively now with concrete coating businesses across the US and Canada. And we already know what works to generate a flood of new business for concrete coating businesses. So that, and I'm actually finished writing my new book. It should be out in spring. That's going to be probably ready here in the next month. Just kind of got to go through the editing process as well. It's going to be available on Amazon as well. Don't worry, I'll let you guys know when that's launched. So yeah, that's where I am with that. So let's really dive into this webinar right now that you guys are here. I want to make sure that your time is not wasted and that this is going to be value for you. So one of the biggest problems when it comes to marketing online is it can be expensive if you don't know what you're doing. There's a lot of money that goes into marketing. And it's a really big investment. So you want to have the hopes and dreams of being able to get the results that you've been looking for, right? In a lot of cases, when it comes to your website, like I just talked about, you get a lot of traffic coming in, but not enough leads. So something's working, but there's a lot of things that are not working, right? So inevitably what happens, it looks like things are supposed to be running, but at the end of the day, you got low ROI, right? Which at the end of the day, and when I talk about ROI, I'm talking about your truck's got to be paid, right? Your payroll has got to be looked after. There's so many different things that you got to be taken care of. And then you're not profitable, right? On the other end of it, you get excited for the year, you start planning ahead for the future, you start bringing people in, you start recruiting for new employees, you got to train them up, and you might even get lucky and have somebody who's super qualified, and you need to keep them around, right? So inevitably, if you're not getting the lead flow that you're looking for, you don't have a website that's converting properly, you end up getting parked trucks and an empty schedule, right? You're just not getting the investment that you're looking for, and you can't grow. So ideally, what you want to do is you want to have a website that's built to convert, a really good site that just everything, the components, the elements are laid out in a specific way that is designed specifically for one reason, and that's to have your traffic, your users, your prospects, whatever you want to call them, convert. They're either going to fill out a form or call you, right? Then when you start having that set up, then you can start looking at your advertising and your SEO and getting ranked on the first page of Google and social media. All these different strategies and channels that you can tap into will work so much better. So let me know in chat, just give me a 1 in chat if that actually resonates with you, if that actually makes sense what I'm talking about right now. No one? Great, awesome. So you want to be able to convert these visitors into callers, right? You want to have these visitors filling out the form. Otherwise, they're going to leave your website and go somewhere else. And that's the last thing that you want, right? They're on your website for a reason. So inevitably, when this starts to happen, the opposite happens, right? You get a full schedule. You can actually look forward to recruiting, and that you don't have that anxiety and stress of having to deal with trying to figure out how to balance these plates that you have in front of you, when you know that you do have a lot of momentum and consistent growth. Just like a ship out at sea without a wind, there's no momentum, right? But a ship with wind, you got a full sail, you got momentum, you know where you're going, you have direction. So phone's ringing, trucks are running, business is booming. Ultimately, this is at the end of the day what you wanted to try to achieve, right? And so again, it goes back to the website. It's the hub. All the things that you're doing comes in and out of that website. But the last thing that you really want to do is you don't want them to go somewhere else. You want them to convert. So here's a perfect example of having a higher conversion based website and why it's important. So let's say you have a website that's providing you 500 visitors a month, but it's only converting at about 5%. Now, industry standard shows that typically a good converting website should be converting at around 15%, 10 to 15%. That's not inclusive of doing ads and things like that, because you can have dedicated landing pages for that. Sometimes, we've even had ad campaigns go up to 40% conversion rates. That's a different kind of strategy. It's a different thing. We're talking about the website and getting your organic traffic coming in, and traffic coming in from your social media and Google My Business, all these different places. So in this example, let's say you have a 5% conversion. So this will translate into about 25 leads or form submissions, right? And let's say your sales team or yourself, you have a pretty decent conversion rate. So you're closing those booked appointments into booked jobs, right? That's 30%. So that's 7 booked jobs. So if you have an average ticket of about $2,500, that should translate to about $17,500 every single month in this scenario, just from your website coming in. Now, while that may not seem so bad, there's so much more potential, right? Having a higher converting website. So you're not spending anything extra. You're still getting the 500 visitors a month. You have a 15% conversion rate because you have a higher converting website. Now it's translating into 75 calls a month or form submissions. Same conversion rate. Now you have 22 book jobs, $2,500 average transaction. Now your website is converting and providing you with $55,000 worth of revenue. Let me know in chat. Give me a 1 if you think conversion optimization is important now that you've seen the scenario. Yeah, 100%. It totally makes sense, because you're not doing anything different in terms of getting the traffic to your website. The only thing different that you're doing is building a website that converts well and then inevitably provides more leads and revenue, right? More calls to your office. So in case you guys haven't done this yet, go ahead and maybe Remsha, can you put the link in chat so they can go and check out this workbook? We're going to go through this workbook in this webinar right now, but this is going to be for you guys to take with you. If you have somebody who does marketing for you, maybe you can send this off to them. You can review it with them, and it's easier for you guys to be able to make those changes. So today we're going to talk about 11 critical elements to help you with getting better conversion rates on your website. So please mute your mic on the lower left of your screen. Oh, okay. You're not talking to me, Ed. You're talking to someone else. I think if I mute my mic, that's not a good thing, right? Or maybe it is. All right. So speak to your target avatar. So when I say target avatar, what I'm talking about is your customers that you have now, right? The messaging that you're putting out there is super critical and important on your website. You cannot be talking about yourself. You need to be talking about how you can help them with their fears and frustrations. Tell them why they should choose you over their competitor, right? You want to be real. You want to be using authentic images of your team on the homepage and throughout the website. And you don't necessarily have to use images of your team on the homepage. I know that because it's sometimes very difficult to get a team together to be able to do that. And not everybody wants their picture taken. However, there are ways that you can really still make your website look authentic. So it doesn't look like it's a templated type website that everybody has seen that stock image before. Be authentic so that when your target avatar or your audience lands on the website, they see, okay, they can connect with you and your company, so that builds trust, right? Are you leveraging video, multimedia elements to engage different modalities? So you got embedded YouTube channels on there. Do you have a welcome video, right? If you have a service page for every, or a page for every service on your website, right? You want to have a video for every one of those services explaining a little bit more detail about what it is that you do with that specific service, right? And why they should contact you versus the competition. Think of it in a way of you being able to have conversations with them without you even being there, right? They're connecting with you at a higher level, right? And then of course, now they're engaged, now they're connecting. The next thing is you can leverage social proof. So get the reviews embedded on the website, right? Now, in most cases, if you're just starting out, you may not be in the position to be providing reviews, but if you have already gotten a few jobs already under your belt, reach out to them, try to get testimonials. If they don't want to leave a Google review, get a testimonial, put that testimonial on your website, right? It's not as good because the source where they can see it's coming from typically shows it's a little bit better and real and authentic. So just kind of be aware of that. And you want it to be everywhere on your website, not just the homepage. You want it to be on every page. Make a section on your website where it shows all the reviews, right? So the next thing you want to do is really get the basics in order. We call it conventions. You want to get the conventions in order. You want to have the phone number in the right-hand corner, or a button that says get a free quote here, right? Ensure that there's a web form that customers can fill out. Add credibility with authority symbols like BBB, Angie's List, 3 best rated. If you're part of an association, get that on there. If you don't have some of this, there's like, if you don't have BBB, Angie's List, 3 best rated, that's okay. Get there, right? Not everybody agrees with BBB. Sure, there's politics behind it, but guess what? Your opinion of that doesn't matter near as much as the customer's opinion of you. So if they like BBB, they trust BBB, you should have it on your website, right? Are you guys with me so far? Does this make sense? Excellent. Great. Great. Awesome. So you want to ensure that you have clear calls to action on each page that speaks to your customer, right? And tells them exactly what to do next. Calls to actions are things like, professional services, blah, 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 right? Get a free quote here. Go here, do this, go over here, do this, click this button, right? We need to guide them throughout your website to tell them what it is that they want to do. Those are calls to actions, right? You want to use special offers and coupons that match the service that they're in need of. Before we go any further on this, I'm a different kind of character when it comes to using offers and coupons. I'm not a proponent of it. I really don't agree with offers to the extent of you're throwing away all your profit, because profit matters, right? That's the only way you're ever going to grow your business. So be very careful in the kind of offers that you are providing. Here's a good idea, and we'll get more in depth with this, but just as an example of what I mean is, you could have $100 off, $150 off, whatever. But if you start doing things like $500 off or a half price installation, you're opening up the conversation for people who are only fixated on price. Then the conversation is only ever going to be about price, and it's really, really hard to get out of that. So I can tell you from experience in dealing with, helping my clients get through that kind of idea. As soon as you stop talking about getting discounts, you're going to attract the people who want to have their problem solved, not people who want the best deal. Not always, but it's a lot better. So I just want you guys to be aware of that. Have special offers if you want. A good example would be something like if you offer custom garage storage solutions as a secondary to your concrete coating, well, maybe you can give them a $500 deal on that. Not your concrete coating, but if you have to come to their place once, then you're saving money. It makes sense to them that you're willing to give them a deal on that side of it, because you don't have to go back and forth. You're just doing it all at one time, right? To some degree, right? And so people can agree with that. They'd be like, yeah, that's actually a pretty good deal. $500 off for this storage solution. Let's do it. And then that way you're not discounting or devaluing your business. Does that make sense? A lot of people agree that offers are important, and we've been conditioned to believe that you got to have that for advertising, but it's not the case. We've had just as much lead flow coming in from doing campaigns with no offers as we have had with offers. The only difference is profitability. The ones without offers make more money. So I just want you guys to know that. So you want to make sure that your website is mobile optimized with an easy click to call function. That's one thing I've noticed on a lot of websites when I do reviews, is that's not available. You go onto your website right now on your phone, and let's take a look and see if you have a click to call button. Is there a button that's easy for you guys to, for your users to click? So let's take 2 minutes, go on your phone and take a look and see if there's an easy way to call you. I'll be right back. All right, does everybody have their website up on their phones? Give me a 1 in chat if you have a call button that's really easy for them to click. 2 in chat if it's no go. Okay. So I have, Ed, it looks like you direct messaged me, but that's okay. So far we're getting 2s. We have 1. Ed's got a 1. So, and 2 on mobile, 1 on desktop. Okay. So it's surprising, right, that something like that isn't near as available to your users as it should be, right? It should be a button, but even a button that floats, right? So when they're scrolling down on their phone, that button is just sticking right at the bottom of the screen. So whenever they're ready to call you, they're going to call you. Now, a call button on a mobile website is the most important action or element that you can have on your website. If somebody is willing to pick up the phone and call your office or call you, that's got to be the highest quality lead that you can get in the market today in 2022. Because of the convenience that's out there, you can do messenger, chat, reaching out by text message, email. People don't have to pick up the phone anymore. So if they do, you better be ready and willing to answer that phone. Don't let it go to voicemail if you can help it. Pick up that phone, right? So just wanted to let you know about that. But it's really, really surprising how difficult some of these people have it when they go onto a specific website and want to try to reach out to you, right? It's actually a lot worse than a lot of people think, right? We don't think so. We're just kind of busy doing our thing, but in a lot of cases, it's very difficult, right? So with that said, have other avenues that you can put, other elements that you can put on your website that can affect them reaching out to you. You want to make it so easy for them to contact you, right? And one way to do that is through live chat or a chatbot. There's probably 3 that I can think of that are probably a free way of doing that. You can actually use it through Facebook Messenger. Facebook actually provides code that you can actually grab from them, and it's free. You just embed it on the website, and the messenger icon shows up in the bottom right-hand corner. So that's one way. So then when they do message you, you get it directly on Messenger. That's probably the best way to do it. You can do third-party apps that are like things like WeChat or Mobile Monkey. They integrate with Facebook Messenger and help you kind of like customize more of a automated system. Be very, very careful about how much you use that. A lot of times you can get stuck in the weeds on that, and you start asking all these questions, which can end up being more frustrating for the user when all they want to do is reach out to you, right? And so you don't want to be utilizing automation too much on that, but it is good to have it. This is a big one, site speed, okay? You could even go to gtmetrix.com. I'll put it in chat here. And you can actually run a search of your website, and it'll tell you how well it's performing. Site speed, a lot of people were like, well, it's okay, whatever, site speed, Google's going to figure it out. But they've already announced, and they've kind of like been weaning this into us for a while. They've been saying that site speed is going to be a major impact in conversions and how you rank on Google. And people were just kind of shrugging it off. But now it's gotten to the point where it is so critical for your SEO and your ranking and your conversions that they've created a new core update that will actually devalue your website if it's not fast enough. So just be aware of that. Site speed is important. And the reason for that is not everybody has the luxury or the ability to be in a service area on their phone where they can load a website that has a picture that's 1 megabyte. Right? And if you look at how websites are designed, everything kind of starts with the desktop. So let's say you have a header image. Well, now that header image has to be shrunk down into a tiny little screen, right? There's code that's needed to make that happen. You have to use CSS to be able to shrink that down to a small size, right? But it's still 1 megabytes, right? And so 1 megabytes for a tiny little image is massive in size for a mobile phone to be able to pull that information. So it definitely matters. It's actually very critical. The other thing you want to do is you want to engage via SMS and phone via marketing automation. So this is kind of off the cuff of your website. This is what happens after somebody has engaged with you on your website or filled out a form or called you. You want to leverage marketing automation to help increase those conversion rates. So how do we optimize for conversion? So you can go, guys can go ahead and take a look at this website if you want at your leisure. We're actually going to go through it right now, and I'll show you some examples. Let me just close some of this off here. Okay, can you see my screen already here? Everything look good? Perfect. All right. So this case it's a little bit off from what I was mentioning in terms of, having, authentic images with your team and everything else, right? Kind of goes off from what I said. I know it's contradictory, but in this case, this client was really focusing heavily on brand, right? So we actually had a brand company come in and kind of give us some feedback and kind of made some changes based on that, right? Because he really wanted to focus on his brand. But if you look through here, the structure of the website is on the conventions that we build out. It took me 2 years to build out a specific type of website that not only converts really well, but ranks really well on Google, right? And so that it follows this convention. So as you see, you have a phone number at the top and you have the get a fast quote button, right? So when you click the get a fast quote button, it's going to take you to a free quote page where they can fill out. In this case, this is Responsibid, but you can have a simple form in here, right? They'll fill out their information. Here's a video on how their process works, kind of increase that trust, right? And there's buttons and contact buttons everywhere throughout this website. And then here's some elements here that talk about unique selling propositions, which we're going to get into a little bit here in a second, right? Here's more for call to actions, right? Happiness from start to finish. People are just like, wow, this is amazing. I want this. Before and after pictures, 20-year guarantee. So here's a warranty, right? Here's the process video. So you have YouTube embedded on here. So if you have a YouTube video on your website, there's a couple of things that happen with that. You're going to start ranking better in Google and in YouTube. And when somebody watches it, it's being recorded. Google knows that your user is spending an extra amount of time watching a video. That's a plus. That will actually help increase your ranking. When people start engaging on your website, that's exactly what Google wants. Again, more USPs, right? Here's how the quoting works, right? Obviously you got your service area in here, big, huge call to action, right? Just like a landing page, dedicated landing page, big, huge call to action. So why would they not fill out a form? Here's the chat bot in the corner, right? Why would they not reach out to you, right? This website converts very, very well. Of course, you have your services, right? Still haven't gotten the video for the service yet, for every service on this website yet. But as you can see, there's some more call to actions here on the side, some images of what's going on. Here's some more call to actions, right? Here's a blog that's embedded in here so they can actually go in and start looking at, some value that you guys are putting out there, right? So that's kind of like the idea. You want to have things structured in a specific way. You don't want to be using templated websites. Now, before I go further on that, something is better than nothing. So if you're just getting into this, you've been, it's been less than a year, or you just started and you're just kind of like trying to figure things out, and you've had a website up for a while and it's okay. That's good. That's action is better than no action in this case. You don't want to overthink this, right? At least you have a point of reference for your customers to go with, right? When you have the budget and you have the ability to do this, and you really want to focus on SEO and have a high converting website, which as you see the numbers, then that's when you want to really start looking at getting a website that's really built to convert. So if you go to floorquotingmarketers.com cheat sheet, you can actually download this. Here, I'll see if I can copy this link here, put it in chat. Let's see. That's not what I want. Here, I'm just going to share this, guys, with you. Anyone? Okay, I'm going to put this in chat. There you guys go. Now that's a cheat sheet that you guys can use. And basically, just kind of go through it. So the findability elements, engaging elements, conversion elements, WordPress elements. So we use WordPress for our websites. There's a lot of things that you can use with WordPress. I like the plugins. You can do a lot with it. And it's very good. WordPress is probably the best content management system for SEO, in my opinion. It's very customizable, open source. It's really good. So this will kind of just give you an idea of where you need to have things. You want to have your title tag and your description up here. You want to have your logo on the left. And let's talk a little bit about that as well. When you look at a website, it's the same as reading a book. So that you first land on your website, you're going to see the logo on the left. That's why you always see the logos on the left, right? Then you read from a zigzag pattern. So you go from left all the way to the right, and then down through the middle, and then over to the left. That's why these buttons are placed here. So this is just not randomly placed in different places. It's placed in specific places that catches the eye, right? So you have your logo on the left. Okay, perfect. I know I'm on the right website. There's your nice clean menu, which makes sense, right? And then your call to actions on the right. 90% of what happens on your website happens right here. This is called above the fold. Going back into history, we have your newspaper stands, and they would put all their best stuff on the front page. Then they would fold it so that and place it on their newspaper stand so that everybody can see it. It has to be engaging and catchy for them to sell that newspaper. So that term was coined in web design because it's the same concept. You have to have a good heading that's going to be engaging. You have to have actions that are going to be on the website. Does that make sense? Am I boring you guys? You still with me? So think of a left to right zigzag pattern. If you're trying to restructure your website, think of it that way. If you guys want, we'll have time to review a couple of websites. If you guys want to put your website up here in chat, we can do a quick overview and I can give you some tips. How does that sound? You're not obligated to it. Perfect. So we'll get to that in a second, Dennis. But if you can see Joe Jones through Joe Jones' eyes, then you can see what Joe Jones buys. Try to say that 3 times. The reason I have that in there is it's super, super important to have the right type of messaging is what we're going to go through right now. So back to the top of the elements, right? Who's your ideal customer avatar? Think about your customers and the ones that you've been dealing with over the past while, right? Look at their demographics. Who are they? Are they a homeowner? Obviously. 35 plus years old, typically male or female. Which one is it, right? Married with 2 kids, annual household income of 65K plus. Are they reliable? Do they like to please people? Maybe they like to have fancy things and they want to show it all off to the neighbors and their friends, right? Maybe they're not that handy. They just they'd rather hire other people to do the work, right? Maybe they live in an upper class or upper middle class neighborhood, right? And they take an interest in the community, right? So these are demographics that you really want to nail down and don't take this lightly because this is the type of stuff that you're able to talk about on your website and connect with them, right? And you want to look at their pains and frustrations. So people will buy for 2 reasons. One is they're trying to run away from their pain. They want it looked after. They don't want to deal with it, or they run towards desire, right? So you can craft messages based on both or one or the other, right? So you got to figure out what is most important to your client. Typically, pains and frustrations, pain points, they convert at a higher level than desire does. Nobody likes to be in pain. Nobody likes to suffer. Nobody likes to be dealing with problems. So what are those, right? What are those pains and frustrations? Maybe they don't have construction knowledge, or they can't get a concrete coating company on the phone to return their call, right? Maybe they need to get an issue resolved, too busy to deal with it. Or maybe they're just worried that the project won't turn out well, right? Maybe they can't rely on their partner to do the job. Some more fears and implications. Maybe they're been ripped off before. Maybe they've been screwed over and they have this bad taste in their mouth for contractors, right? Or maybe they're paying too much for something that they could have got somewhere else, right? Maybe they're worried that you're going to damage the property, These are things that you can tell them on the website, that you have systems in place or procedures or policies that are going to prevent these pains and fears from happening to them, right? And then we can talk a little bit about the goals and desires, right? Get the garage floor done before summer, right? Don't have to deal with the problem. We're going to take care of it, right? Maybe they have more income, money, and wealth. They want to have something that's going to take care of their family. They want to have a nice, luxurious home. Maybe they have a classic car that was inherited from their father and he wants to have a nice place for it in the garage, right? That's obviously getting a little bit too narrow there, but you know, these are things that people think about when they're trying to decide if they want to buy from you, right? Obviously, peace of mind is the biggest one. So here's some examples of messaging that has worked in the past. Obviously, you want to try to be as different from your competitors as possible because everybody does the same thing over and over and over. But there are ways that you can really stand out. There are some things that you still need to have that is in comparison. But if you're exactly the same as your competitor on your website, guess what? You're going to be talking about price. That's the only difference, right? Is now you got to negotiate. So if you can come up with some unique selling propositions that will really put forth a different version of concrete coating that they've never seen before, you're going to set yourself apart from your competition, right? You don't want to be better than your competition. You want to be different than your competition. Different is better. So here's some examples. One-day installation, we store your valuables, right? There's a lot. That is probably one of the biggest questions that I've seen on these leads that come in is, what do I do with my stuff? If you can solve that problem for them, I'm telling you guys, it's game changing. You could totally, there's no more dealing with price anymore at this point. Because if you have a team of people that can come in and take all the valuables out, store it in a trailer that you guys might have, or a pod that you can rent, right? And you can charge them for that, obviously. But something like that, solving that problem is huge. 0% financing for 24 months. That's another price you can overcome. It's a price objection that you can overcome. If it's too much, that's fine. We got 0% financing interest for 24 months, right? Straightforward pricing, upfront pricing, honest pricing, satisfaction guaranteed, obviously trustworthy technicians, background checked, all that kind of stuff, right? So we went through that website, kind of looked at some of them, bonded and insured, a little blurb of what that means, on-time service, a little blurb of what that means. So is this kind of resonating with you guys? Like, do you feel like maybe this is some stuff that you could implement on your website so far? Give me a 1 in chat if you agree with that. Awesome. Great. So going back to the website, large contact information, one-click navigation, you got chat buttons that are easy, it's very clean, everything kind of makes sense, right? Leveraging multimedia, having reviews embedded on the website, super important, right? Leverage that social proof, right? Use specific offers to specific service pages on the site. We've talked about making sure that you're being very strategic with those offers, right? Limited time offers, free add-ons. We're talking about, maybe we can give you $500 off the custom garage solutions or something like that, right? There's also something that you could do as well. There's a referral side of it too, right? Give them, if they can refer their neighbor, if they can get their neighbor done at the same time, give them a chance to chew on that for a bit, then there can be a discount there, right? Then you get 2 birds with 1 stone. Okay, so let's go a little bit into the mobile friendly side of things. So 4.8 billion people now own mobile phones, right? Probably more use mobile phones. 3 out of 5 consumers search for local businesses on their smartphone. Google reports, this is a big one. Google reports that 40% of mobile customers or consumers turn to a competitor's website after a bad mobile web experience. They get onto the website, it's not functioning properly, it's taking too long to load, whatever the case might be, and they leave. So Google has all this data, right? We now know this. So Google Mobile First Indexing, which is a new core update, is already in existence. So Google now focuses on having mobile first as its priority than your desktop, because more and more people are going to be accessing people via the web on a mobile phone as opposed to desktop, right? So now it's a core update. So if your website isn't doing well on mobile, that should be your number one priority, even over the call button and everything else that we talked about. You want to be able to have a fast loading website. Number one priority. So here's a perfect example of what you would expect on a mobile phone. You'd have the phone number that's easy to click. You have a quote button that's easy to click. And there's a couple floating buttons at the bottom that sticks to the bottom of the screen as they scroll through. And as you notice, it's not very large. It's not taking over everything, but it's enough, right? So again, we talked about live chat. 5 to 10% of visitors to your website take action, call or web form, right? We've already established that, probably maybe even 15% if you have a good website. 90% of your visitors leave without calling. And we know that they're in the market for your services because they're on your website. So why not make it easy, right? Have a live chat in there. It's proven to increase leads by an average of 35% just by having that in there. You do have to make sure that you are managing that, right? So my recommendation is to try to find a way to have the Facebook Messenger icon, right? So that it links to your Messenger, because in most cases, and you can probably agree with me on this, you're going to be doing a lot of communications back and forth with a lot of leads coming from social media, Facebook, whatever. Why have another app and third-party app that you have to deal with to be able to manage that lead flow when you can do it directly into Messenger already, right? Just make it easy for yourself so that you can be on it, right? So we've kind of gone through quite a bit already. Is this all kind of making sense so far? You guys ready for some auditing here? Let's take a look at Dennis's here. Can you guys see the website? Ramshaw, is it visible here? It should be visible here, right? Yeah, perfect. Okay. Yeah, so this is good. So far I can tell you already that this is the right way to do it. So you have you got your logo on the left, you're reading from left to right. You have your phone number here. It's clickable, but is it clickable on mobile? And I think you were saying that the phone number isn't available. Yeah, so on here, this is good. You got the reviews at the top as well. You got a nice video there. Very, very well done. I really think that that's good. You got the form there. It's super, super easy for them to fill out. I bet you this converts really well, doesn't it? You're probably converting at probably 10, 15% organically on this website. Yeah. I would say your new garage floor, like put it on them. Your new garage floor coating will improve your life by enhancing your indoor and outdoor living spaces, right? Because then they're thinking, oh yeah, mine, right? Yeah, this is really good. If you have any, does this go off? Okay, so it still stays on the website. That's good. And you got a form here. Very, very good. I like it. Very well done. Yep, you got, see, this is engaging. You got videos here about different things, right? Concrete coatings. These must be testimonials, I'm guessing. I would probably put, here's what your neighbors are saying, something along the lines here to kind of let them know that these are testimonials, because I didn't really understand right off the bat what that was. I would probably change that, right? Here's what your neighbors are saying about the team that you can count on for a perfect flooring installation service. That's pretty long header, but I would just even say, like, here's what your neighbors are saying or something like that. Yeah, that's good. This is important, guys. The step 1 to step 6, like, you have that on your website, you need to have that. Just because this way they understand that it's a little bit more in depth than just simply painting epoxy, right? Take a look. Good. You got the reviews embedded. Contact us today. Before and afters. Yeah. I think they did a fantastic job, Dennis. This is a really good looking website. The only thing I would probably consider is maybe some floating buttons. I feel like you're probably missing some leads there because of that, like a call button even, but something that would be floatable would be ideal. But aside from that, like I think you got some stuff here. Let's take one look here. Is this ranking good? Is this ranking good on Google? I feel like it probably is. Yeah. Yeah. Are you paying for SEO, or is this just got lucky? I feel like you got some SEO going on here. Yeah, this is very well done. Guys, if you gotcha, in-house, nice job. If you guys ever need any inspiration, maybe if it's okay with Dennis, you guys can kind of take a look at his website and kind of look at it, because it's really well done. I would probably spread this out a bit. Mind you, I'm on a fairly large screen. This is probably compensating for the smaller screen so that there's not any issues with responsiveness, is my guess. Got everything in a sitemap. Now, the only thing is I'm not seeing an address on here in terms of your Google My Business and you're getting ranked there. You can actually, I would put your address under here. If you're working out of your home and it's hidden, that's fine. I would just put your where you're located, like just the city you're in, and then have this logo click to your Google My Business profile. Does that make sense? It just ties them together, and it's really good for SEO. Awesome. Okay, well, man, there's really isn't a lot I can tell you on this. They've done a really fantastic job. This is stuff that you guys can look at. I would, if you can't get the floating button going on mobile, maybe add another button here for the call button. You don't have to have it obviously on the desktop per se, but it is easier, as they scroll down. Maybe one more thing I would probably be, okay, so you do have a call us today. What does that do? Perfect. Maybe call us today. Can you make that the phone number instead? Call and then put the phone number in there, because on desktop I can see it and then I can just type it out. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay. Awesome job. All in all, I think it's good. All right, what's the next one? I think Dave, you were did you put yours in here? All American. Okay. Okay, so let's take a look. So you got complete floor coating system installed in 1 day. It kind of feels a little bit jumbled in, like kind of compressed. Maybe I'm not looking at it right, but let's see here. So click to call. In this case, we want to kind of look at, if it's converting, right? Don't have to go too crazy in the weeds. Yeah, so you're going to need to get your number on there as well. Same kind of concept. Maybe you can get like a floating button or something, or even just have the phone number right here. Start now. I would change that to, okay, this button doesn't work. That's a big one. Change that to get a quote. Now, do you have a quote? Guess it's just under contact us. Be brutal. I hate the page. No problem. Okay, so you do have some contact stuff here. honestly, I feel like there is definitely some room for improvement. I think it could be spread out a little bit more. These could probably, you don't need to have the email us per se in there. You could probably put that in the contact us section. If this is your way of getting people to contact you, you're going to have a hard time because there's not even a way to click to go to email, but there's also, that doesn't work anymore really anyway, because you click it and it might open up Outlook, right? But a lot of people use Gmail. So it's just not really a good way to do it, right? So what I would do is move this logo over here, put this whole menu up, right? Put the call today up in here, right? Put your social media links down in the bottom. Social media seems like it's like a good place for it, but personally, I don't think it is, because you're sending them away from your website, which defeats the purpose. They have to come back to it to convert from you, right? So I would put this down in the footer, right? Because you're still having those links, and it's important to have, but it's not, you could be potentially sending people away from your website. You don't want that. Instead, put the phone number in here, right? Kind of like National Concrete Coatings, like this, right? So have it up here like that, right? Get a quote button. It's really important. Like, I don't see, you need to have a page where they can fill out a form. There's no form. I don't see a form that they can fill out. So I'm feeling like this probably is not converting very well. You might get some calls, but it's probably not converting very well. Am I right? We install. Yeah. So even like things like this is really very poorly, if at all. Okay. Yeah. So even something like this, we install a full quoting system within one day. You could turn that messaging around, right? You could say, enjoy a beautiful concrete coating system in your garage in one day. Get a call today or get a fast quote now, right? And just kind of like turn it on them instead of saying that's what we do. Say that this is what they're going to get. You know what I mean? um, three-step coding process. I'm assuming it's probably more like a six-step, right? Because you got your scraping and everything else. I would change that to probably the six-step kind of thing. But you're on the right track here, right? Our projects. This is good to have. It's important. I don't see any reviews on here either. Okay, here we go. But there's no source, right? Like you could probably embed your Google My Business in here, right? So, I mean, honestly, I feel like, again, you could probably have your address. Okay, you got your address. You could have this link to your Google My Business as well. There's definitely some room for improvement, but I will say I don't mind the color. Like I think the brand of it is good. I just feel like it's kind of like Legoed together a little bit, maybe. Does that sound bad? I'm so sorry. Definitely some room for improvement for sure. Let's take a look at the services here. Garage floor coating. Yeah, so there's really not a lot going on about garage floor coating. You need to be a lot more specific. There could be a lot of stuff that you could talk about in garage floor coating for sure. So yeah, I mean, I think Dave, we're kind of already going to be on a call here soon anyway, so maybe we can chat about that a little bit more in detail if you want when you're ready. So let's go back to the website. So sometimes this can be overwhelming, getting like, oh my God, this is like, I don't even know where to start. Like, I don't even know how to do this stuff or whatever the case might be. But let's just go, next time you're trying to figure this out, first of all, you rewatch the webinar. There's going to be a replay for it. But just pick three action items, the most important ones that you could probably implement from today's webinar. Let's hear it in chat. Let's think about it for about a minute, maybe 2 minutes. let's hear in chat from you guys. What would be at least one that you know you have to implement on your website like today? Give you 1 minute for that. All right. So Dennis says two things that he's going to do is click to call on mobile, address and footer with Google My Business. Good idea. One more thing I would probably add to that is maybe add, like put your phone number like more prevalent on desktop as well. Obviously, if you change it on desktop, it should change it on your mobile as well. That way they can, right? It's just make it easy, right? Yeah, that would be the only thing I would actually add. Dave, new site is necessary. And that's okay, right? Because the idea here with this webinar is to pinpoint these things so that you can start getting some leads coming in, right? That's all that matters, right? So definitely, so the top three things that I would always recommend is fast loading website for mobile. Well, they're both going to work hand in hand, right? You can get caching plugins and different things that you can use to really help with that. Lisa says, arrange the structure correctly, move things like logo and phone number. Yep. Request a quote button, more information and content. Yep. Like YouTube videos, things like that. Very important. A couple other things that you can do is you can actually take a video, and we do this for my webinars, and transcribe it through a software tool called otter.ai. You can take that video, transcribe it into text format, and just break it down into a paragraph right next to the video if you wanted to, right? That's content. It's authentic. It works, right? Just some ideas. So yeah, definitely the top three is fast loading website. You want to have your call to actions very visible, very easy, and a form to fill out. Those are probably the three main elements that you want to implement. The phone number is clickable. It's available on mobile, right? Makes sense. You're on a phone. You're looking at a website. There should be a phone number that's clickable. One thing I will tell you is this: even if your phone number shows up on mobile and it's not clickable, not one person is ever going to remember your phone number, go out of your website, go to the dial pad and dial you. They're already done with it. I don't know about iPhones, but I've always been an Android user. And I know I can highlight and copy. Like when I highlight it, it does know that it's a phone number. And so I can call that way. That's a lot of work though. Why don't I just click it? It takes me to my dial pad and I can call you, right? Okay, so I guess I got ahead of myself on the live review, but I think that you guys kind of got the gist of that. So biggest marketing issue, we're gonna go a little bit further on this and then we're almost done here. So the biggest marketing issue facing concrete coating or any home service business is unconverted leads. As you can see, George Bush there, he was my sales guy. Didn't do a very good job, just kidding. So 50 to 60% of inbound traffic, they leave unconverted. 90% of the web forms fail to convert. So here's where we're at. You got your nice website. Everything is working as it should. People are calling you, they're filling out the forms, but then crickets. Nothing happens on their end after they fill out the form. What do you do after that? Right? And so it can be very discouraging for people like yourself who are trying to figure this all out. You need to have automated follow-ups, right? So leads that are not followed up within 50 minutes, they go cold, or they're already on to your competitors. So think about the customer's mind. They need to solve their problem. They need a new concrete floor. They need to figure out what's going on. They're going to go onto your website. They're going to fill out the form. Then they're going to go onto a competitor's website. They're going to fill out the form. They're going to keep going until they get their 3 to 5 quotes in most cases, unless they saw your website and were completely overwhelmed with just wow, that they don't want to go anywhere else. They just want you to take care of it. Obviously, everyone wants those kinds of leads, but that's not the case, right? So we have to make sure that you're on it, right? So the average customer must be followed up with 5 to 7 times before you've even scheduled a booking for the estimate, right? This is where the gap lies. I find that your conversion rate on leads coming in is less than 30%. If you have less than 30% conversion rate on the leads that you're receiving, then you need to look at how the follow-up is being built, right? And I know this kind of goes out past the conversion side of the website, but it's super important to have this nailed in, right? There are CRMs out there that you can use to help you with leveraging automation, right? Obviously, picking up the phone is crucial. But in today's consumer environment, people prefer to interact via text message or phone call. Let me know in chat, see if you can answer this one. And it's sort of a trick question, but not really. If you guys know what an open rate is on an email, that's basically when somebody clicks it and looks at it. What's an open rate on a text message? 100%. Exactly. 100%. Same with voicemail. I hate having my voicemail icon on my phone because I know there's somebody who's left me a message. It's important enough that I have to look at it. So why not do things like voicemail bombs and send text messages to follow up with these leads? They came to you. You have to remember that. So that gives you permission to follow up with them, right? It's your duty to follow up with them. So you want to leverage marketing automation to follow up with web forms within the first 2 minutes of submission via phone, email, text message. Automate the follow-up so that every prospect is touched at least 5+ times. Even for my agency in the sales side of it. In fact, I might have even reached out to a few of you. I'm diligent. I don't stop with my automation. I have lots of emails that go out. And the reason for that is not to bombard anybody. The reason for that is because sometimes they'll end up in the promo folder, or sometimes the person that I'm trying to reach out to is so busy that they just don't look at their emails enough, right? And it gets missed to tomorrow's emails. It gets buried into tomorrow's emails. So it's now a forever gone email. And so what you're trying to establish is you're trying to stay top of mind so that when they are ready to make a decision, they still have to go into their email and delete your message. So they're going to see you. They're going to see your business, right? At some point, they're either going to say, go away, no, or let's do this, right? That's how marketing works. So don't be afraid to do a lot of automation, on the marketing side or on the email side, right? Open rates are only about 20 to 25%. If it's a good email, you're going to be 45% if they're expecting your email kind of thing, right? So you want to be on top of it, right? And here's something that I want you guys to really think about and be aware of. When it comes to following up on the sales side, most salespeople give up after 2 tries, right? So now we're talking about, let's say the estimate's already been sent out. You've had the conversation with them. They're thinking about it. They're figuring it out. Most people will give up after 2. You need 5 to 12 follow-ups before they finally say yes. Sometimes it takes 5 times for them to even say yes, because there's a lot of people that have a hard time making decisions. You can push them over the edge a little bit, right? But you won't be able to do it if you only call a couple of times. Here's another scenario, okay? I love this. I know it's kind of goofy looking, but the math is the path. So let's say you're getting 100 leads coming in your website. It's converting really, really well. So now we're on the right track, okay? We're not in this scenario. Let's say you're not doing automation like you should be with the follow-up side. right? So now you're converting these leads that we worked so hard for at 10%. So now out of all those 100, you got 10 leads, right? Let's say your average ticket is 2,800. So you've made 28 grand. To some people that might be okay, but if your leads are $30 to $40 a pop, is that profitable? Not really. But maybe this scenario is same amount of leads, same amount of work, high converting website, but you got automation, email, you're doing really well on that side, the sales side, right? You got a lot of follow-up happening. So you're automating the follow-up. So you're converting at 50%. So now you got 50 book jobs instead. Average ticket's 2,800. Look at the difference in 1 month. Look at the difference. Now, how fast do you think you could hit 1 million by having good follow-up? Now, this is tested, right? This is math. So it just works. We also, it's actually in my book, but I ran a test. I did some data, and for our clients, we in the form that the prospect fills out, there's actually a question we ask them when they want to get it done. We never used to have that in there, but I decided to put it in there because I thought it was a brilliant way to find out at what level they're at in the buying cycle, because everyone has a buying cycle. Just because they fill out the form doesn't mean they're ready to buy right now, right? Maybe they're planning to upgrade their house so that they can sell it. Maybe they got a wedding coming up, whatever the reason might be, right? 65% out of the 25 form submissions that were filled out said that they wanted it done 2 months and beyond, right? 2 months and beyond. So 35% of the leads that came in, they want it right away or within 1 month. So what does that tell you? You need to have emails and you need to have newsletters sent out. You need to be in constant contact with these people, because I'm telling you, your competitors do not do this. Your competitors, I call them order takers. A lot of times, like not just the concrete coating side of it, but service businesses, we have this expectation, really high expectation, because they fill out the form that they're ready to buy now. And if not, okay, on to the next one, just keep going. So now we're dealing with, quantity over quality. And now you're basing all that on volume of leads. You're going to have low conversion rates and you're not going to be profitable, as it kind of shows you here. Does that make sense? Does that resonate with you guys? Let me know. Give me a one in chat if that's a yes. Good. Good. Got some ones there. Awesome. So even if you could do some extra, like a little bit more than what you're doing now, and you increase your conversion rate even 5 or 10%, and you're at, let's say, 10% now, you're doubling your conversion rate, you're doubling your lead flow, you're doubling your revenue, right? It's the math. So we have now ended the webinar. We are at the end. I hope you guys got a lot of value out of it. Obviously, some of you already have in-house marketers that can help you, but maybe you're just here because you just need some ideas and strategies on how to implement this for yourself. Or maybe you just need a partner that knows concrete coating, right? That knows how to market for concrete coating companies. If that sounds like you and you want to talk, put "let's talk" in comments, and I'll get Remshot to send you the link to my calendar where we can just schedule a quick discovery call. It's like 15 minutes. We'll just talk a little bit about your business and, if we're even a fit to work together. If not, there's no hard feelings, right? I'm here to help. We're not going anywhere. If you're not ready, that's totally fine. This is another way to do it. You can actually go to this link here. Let me see if I can grab it. Put it in here. There we go. So you just got to fill out that form. It'll ask a couple of questions. It'll take you to a calendar where you can book a time that's convenient for you. And we'll just talk for about 15 minutes. Sometimes it'll go longer, depending on what you want to talk about. And that's fine. And we'll just figure it out from there and see if we can help you kind of, if you need a new website, maybe you need just get a consistent flow of leads every month, like Facebook ads or something like that. You just need to get this machine turning, Well, we have a system and process in place for every single one of those channels you want to tap into. So that's it, guys. Do you guys have any questions? Do you want to, I can open up the floor right now for questions. If you got to go, totally get it. I totally understand, but feel free to ask some questions. I'm here. You can leave this open for a couple of minutes if you want. You can even unmute if you want. Awesome. All right, guys. Well, thanks again. And we'll see you on the next webinar. Hope you guys kick butt this my local competition. Nice. Transylvania Concrete. Yeah, hope you guys kick butt this week, and we'll talk to you very, very soon. Talk to you later, guys.